Hey everybody, it's Dr. Levi and welcome to the show. It's the Dr. Levi Show. Today is February 7th, 2017. Oops, got you, 2018. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I love coming to the show. On the drive this morning, I saw so many things that just remind me how wonderful it is to simply be alive. So I have to tell you about something really interesting. As I was driving in today, a bird landed on the side of the car at the stoplight and literally trailed me for about a mile and landed on the car twice. So I don't know what he was trying to tell me, but it happened this morning. So just had to share that with you. So beautiful day here in LA. So we got a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the world, and that's gaming and esports. It's really an area that we don't talk about enough because these athletes have so much to give and they do so much. And more importantly, their bodies take such a beating because of their gaming. And not only the gaming that they do, is also the mental fatigue that one must endure to be a gamer as well as an esports athlete. So we'll discuss that. We'll also talk about one of my favorites, Marvel Comics. You know, Black Panther is coming out on the 16th. I'm really fired up about that. You have to think, with Black Panther, with Doctor Strange, with Infinity Wars, all these incredible movies that are on the precipice, I just can't wait. You know, one thing about comics remind us that we can actually have a fantasy world that is without any type of political strife, any type of racial divisiveness. It's really about bringing everyone together, no matter how they look, what planet they're from, which dimension they're from, which skills they have, how they look. It's about really coming together as a community to save the planet, to be good, to do good, to provide more compassion. So I love the comics because for me as a kid, being such an introvert and being such an oddball, an odd kid, it was always for me a great place to find myself and to find freedom and to find an understanding that I'm okay to be different. I'm okay just being Levi Harrison. Nothing great, nothing bad, just being myself. So the comics is a place where you can go where there's no judgment, there's acceptance, and there's a community of people who really love the superhero characters because they know it's about being of service, which I think is the greatest call for humanity. How can you help other people? How can you treat people the way you want to be treated? That's what I believe. So the show today, we have a great guest on. He's a friend as well as someone whom we have a very interesting story and history of how we were connected by his mother. So we'll talk about that. We're going to be talking to Nicholas Scolari. We'll also be talking to Julian, who's also a friend and extraordinary guy who's also a gamer. And he's also the hand choreographer for Marvel Studios. So he'll be on with us also talking about his life as a gamer, the intricacies that he's endured with respect to having problems with his hands, as well as the challenges of getting better so he can have really appropriate hand care and restorative care for his hands. It's really about having hands that work for you, but also having a protocol of using your hands properly so that you can have sustained gamer's health. That's what it's all about, gamer's health. I want to tell you about that. Coming soon, we're going to be doing specifically a site called Gamer's Health, which will really be about giving you modules of activity that you can do to maintain the quality of your hands and, more importantly, prevent injuries. It's really about prevention. You know, once you have the injury, yes, by the grace of goodness, we'll do what we can to help you. But what about doing things that you can do to prevent injuries so that you don't have to think about minimizing use of your hands because when you game later, you're going to have pain? I want you to be able to use your hands, have a great life, and more importantly, keep this in mind. You only get two hands. So you want to have hands that work for you. You want to have hands that can do what you want when you want. Not only gaming. We only game part of the day. What about eating? What about driving? What about texting? What about typing when we're not on the computer or not playing the game? We have to be really conscious of all of these things so that our hands are properly used so that they can have restorative care, but more importantly, long-term use of your hands. So that's what it's about. So Gamer's Health is coming soon, so get ready for that. Well, I want to give you a quick medical moment. Then I want to bring on our guest, the incomparable Nicholas Scolari, so we'll be talking to him momentarily. But as far as mental health goes, I had a recent conversation with a patient who has a mother who has schizophrenia. And he was telling me how the family has really abandoned her entire health care as well as him. So I want to share this with you. If you're dealing with someone in your family who has mental disorder or mental issues such as schizophrenia or depression or bipolar disorder or just overall melancholy, I want you to know it's important that you continue with the following thoughts. Number one, have compassion. Number two, have empathy. And number three, do what you can to be more loving and more caring without any judgment. When it comes to mental disorder, no one chooses that. It's something that happens. So it's incumbent upon us to be more loving, more kind, more empathy for people who have these issues without any type of finger pointing. It's really not about that. It's about being supportive, being caring, and being present. You know, something that my mother's always said is that when it comes to friends and family, true friends and true family, she'd always say, they do one thing, they show up. And I think that's important. She'd always say your true friends, Levi, will show up financially when they can. They'll show up physically to give you a hug. They'll show up just to be there to listen, but they will show up. So I'm asking you right now, if you know anyone, a friend, a family, or a neighbor who may have mental struggles or mental disease, I want to ask you to not look away from them, to not treat them less than. I'm asking you to be more compassionate, more loving. I'm asking you to reach out. Give a hand of help. Because as you give a hand of help, you also give a hand of hope. It's really about providing hope to people, to letting them know that they're not by themselves. We're all here to really help each other. If we do that in a way that's authentic, filled with gratitude, and filled with service, trust me, we can actually change the world like that. And guess what? You were meant to do just what I was meant to do, I believe, and that was to be here to bring about a difference. Not simply to take up air, to eat food. You have to ask yourself every day, what am I doing to make the world a better place? You don't have to do a lot. Not a lot, but you have to do something. So keep that in mind. And also, don't judge yourself. Only do what you can do. Every day is a good day. If you're alive, guess what? The world is waiting to embrace you with love, with compassion, with gratitude. But simply do this. Be the best possible version of yourself. And don't worry about what other people say about you. Does it really matter? Do they pay your bills? Come on. What other people think about us is not our business. It's our business what we think about ourselves. So the bottom line is, with mental disease, I'm asking you to be more loving, more kind, more compassionate, and more present, to show up with a phone call, with a letter, with an email, with a text. Guess what? You might save someone's life like that. You might make someone smile that day. You might make someone say, you know what? Let me take my medication today. Let me do the right thing, not only for myself, but for the people that love me. It's all about love. It really is. So do your best. Love more, be present, be compassionate, and less judgment. I think those are the keys. I'm sure there are other keys, but I think those are some of the major ones. Well, let's talk to our guest today. Let me tell you, this gentleman, he's someone that vibrates at a high level with respect to intellect. You know, not only being just an intellectual genius, but he's also someone who is about service. You know, I met him through his mother. And I'll let him tell you about that, because it was really interesting how the universe works out. Everything at the perfect time. It's really, really extraordinary. There's no happenstance. There's no serendipity about it. Everything is purposefully driven, I believe, by the universe, which is all about order. So he's actually been a great vehicle of change in my life for reminding me to do more, to be a better man, to be a better physician, to be more receptive with respect to caring of other people. You know, I've worked with him with the Special Olympics. I've worked with him in my office on projects that we've done together. He's just a stellar human being and a great man, and someone who is really about honesty, truth, and about service, and more importantly, about really living a life that's about caring for people. And he's done that unapologetically. He's done that fearlessly. So I want to welcome to the show today a friend as well as someone whom I admire, Nicholas Scolari. So welcome, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great. Can you believe it? You're actually
great.
here, man. It's really wonderful. So let's talk about how I met you. I want you to tell that story because I think it's very intriguing how that worked out.
Sure, absolutely. So there's a bit of a history to it, like you said. But, I mean, just to kind of sum it up.
Yes.
I had a chronic wrist condition. So my entire life, I was a very heavy-duty gamer, as they say. Growing up in the 90s, very similar to, how the NFL was.
Yes.
Back in the 70s and 80s, there wasn't really, protocols or people taking account of, head injuries and,
Right.
that kind of stuff. And
Right.
it's very similar to gaming in that respect. In the 90s, growing up, and in the early 2000s, nobody was talking about your posture, sitting correctly, making sure your hands and wrists are warmed up, and the duration of play.
Yes.
They assumed that going out and playing football or running some sort of a contact sport would be dangerous.
Right.
But in gaming, there was nobody talking about anything like that.
Right.
And the first time we really saw any one really touching upon those issues was like the late 2000s, maybe, early, like 2010, 2011,
Exactly.
With yourself and when we started working together.
Right.
So, myself, I would be sitting with slumped posture, slitting back like this, one leg sitting like straight up in the air, the other one's kind of going like that.
Contorted, right.
Yeah. So, you do that for, 10, 15 years
Yes.
and it catches up with you eventually, especially if you're doing other things in conjunction with that, like weightlifting or playing any sort of sports.
Right,
So.
but you were also an athlete. I
Yeah.
mean, you did a lot of different sports along with gaming.
Absolutely.
So your body was taking multiple
beating.
hits. A beating, that's the word.
Yeah, I played football for 7 years, and I played running back, so a lot of contact. You throw the stiff arm, the wrist going right into a stiff plastic helmet.
Right.
So I was always sore, and then as soon as I came home from football, I was playing games from I do my homework and that kind of stuff.
course.
But then from 7 till midnight or 1, I'd be playing very aggressively high APM games. And for anyone that doesn't know the term APM, it's actions per minute. So it's like if you're playing a game like StarCraft, you have to click very aggressively.
Right.
Whereas if you're playing a turn-based game like Civilization or something slower, it's like every now and then. But it adds up over the course of many years, and eventually it came to a breaking point. I woke up one morning and it felt a little tender the day before.
You talking about your wrist?
Yeah, my wrist. So I have wrist tendonitis, as you diagnosed. And I woke up one morning, and this was in the very beginning, in 2011, 2012, and I couldn't even do anything. I went to go pick up a water bottle, just if you don't mind me using
Yes,
this.
of course.
Picked up a water bottle like this. My hands were shaking. Like I couldn't do anything. It hurt to put on shirts.
Right.
And it was crippling. My entire, and this was about a year and a half before I met you. The right side of my body degenerated. Like I had massive,
atrophy there.
Atrophy.
Yes.
Just I lost weight. Like this, my right chest, but the pectoralis,
I
all that
remember
stuff
that.
just shrunk, and it was debilitating for like a good year. I went to a physician. I'm not going to name names, of course, but they just kind of put a brace on me. Like, I just waited out. And
did they give you any type of therapeutic modality?
No,
like
not really.
Stretches or
It was
exercise
more
or physical
so
therapy.
No,
Nothing.
it was more so like you have wrist inflammation or tendon inflammation, whatever, tendonitis, and here wear this brace and at night when you sleep. And that was about it. That was the extent of it. And it wasn't until I came to see you that we really kind of got on a proactive kind of regimen of stretches and exercises, correcting your posture. Even now, you can see I'm starting to slump forward. But there's a few things that I've really integrated into my lifestyle. And for a living right now, I'm a YouTuber. So I run a YouTube channel. I do gaming for a living.
That YouTube channel is Turin, right?
Yeah,
Turin.
Turin.
Right.
And
so please check that out. It's a great channel. We can see Nick not only playing, but also teaching you how to play efficiently and effectively and how to increase your actions per minute and really win really competitively. So it's a great channel.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's cool to be able to pursue, gaming's been a passion of mine my entire life. Magic the Gathering, I played on, the card games. I play Warhammer 40,000, which is a tabletop game. I do computer games as well. So it's a passion of mine. So being able to do it for a living is a true honor for sure.
Yes,
and I love meeting off through the channel. I get to meet so many cool people from everywhere that share common interests. But regardless,
and literally the great thing I think about gaming too, Nicholas, is that you have an opportunity to meet and make friends internationally. It's a global community of people who game. They do it because we love it, not because we have to do it, but because we love doing it.
Yeah. It's a passion, and I wake up excited. Like I'm like, oh, I get to make some YouTube videos today. It's like it doesn't feel like work really.
Right.
But again, the biggest detractor from how much I can work is my wrist condition. Now it's still there, and it still nags me a little bit, but. Couple things. Every 15 to 20 minutes, I actually have a timer on my phone that goes off, and I stand up and do stretches, and then I am consciously readjusting my posture.
Correct.
And doing hand stretches and exercises that you had illuminated for me and shown me how to do. Of course, through your videos on YouTube, you can see all that stuff as well. But it helps a lot. Absolutely.
I think the great thing too about having a station like that too is it gives you a chance not only teach gaming but also to teach yourself to be mindful of your own posture and at how you're treating your own body.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it can really sneak away from you. If you're, doing a live stream, which can be an hour to 2 hours long, or, even if you're just trying to get like 4 or 5 videos done for the week, like you can be sitting there for 2 to 3 hours, like hunched over editing. And that's when then the inflammation comes, and then it can cripple you for the next day. So it becomes something you need to be really proactive about, especially, you know, myself, I'm 29. When I was in my early 20s, I could game for, you know, 8 to 9 hours a day before my wrist condition, and no problem, every day, just hitting it hard. But, you know, when you get closer to 30, everything starts to, you know, tighten up, and you're you know, I'm sure you can, from a medical perspective.
Oh, yeah, I definitely feel that.
Well, from a medical perspective,
how does
that generally work when you're, you know?
Well, for myself, you're 29, I'm 35 plus. Plus.
Sure, in the ballpark.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand.
The key is that, you know, when it comes to gaming injury and esports injuries, it's just what you said. It's cumulative effect. So if you've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, your body finally says, enough. So what happens is you have pain in your wrists, pain in your hands, pain in your forearm, your elbows, shoulder, and even your neck and lower back. Because it's all about being ergonomically balanced while you're gaming. And to be aware of how your posture is situated at your gaming arena, in your gaming station. So to make sure that your elbows are at 90 degrees, that your chest is up, your head is up, that you're not crunched down, that you're not to the side. You have to really be mindful. I think it's a great idea that you said every 15 minutes you set your timer to be aware that, okay, it's a wake-up call. You know, how's my body right now? Because you have to be in tune with your body to avoid these injuries. One thing I often tell the gamers is that every hour to take a 5-minute break, to stand up, stretch, get away from the computer so you can really go back and get in touch with your body. However, I think the 15-minute rule is a great rule because I think that would really help people. Now, I know this, the professional gamers I take care of, they won't stop. They're not gonna stop every 15 minutes. You know that. So that would be a hard sell, but I think it's something I can definitely mention to them also.
Yeah, it's helpful. And again, it depends on the format of the game. So my games that I play last 5 to 10 minutes, give or take, a piece, and you can take breaks in between. Oftentimes I'll play like 6 or 7 in a row without a break and just lose track of time, and that's when I then get the inflammation. Now, if I catch it, 15 minutes, go outside, walk around, you know, go take my dog out or something, and then I come back, it's like it's a world of difference. And again, like you said earlier in the cast, you know, one of the biggest things for this is prevention, stopping the issue before it, you know, rises. I feel like if you follow this kind of a, you know, type of protocol, you maintain your posture, you take breaks whenever you can in conjunction with the game you're playing, then, you know, you're going to be able to game into your 30s and 40s, no problem, if you're really on top of that. But if you spend your whole life in your teens and early 20s with bad posture and all this kind of stuff, it's going to catch up with you.
Absolutely. You know, and also it's really about ergonomic balance awareness, that you're aware of how you're sitting, you know, where your keyboard is located, where the mouse is. Also your action per minute, you know, the sensitivity of your mouse. Is it high? Is it low? Is it medium? Depending on the game. And also to make changes. If you're having pain, if the APMs are very high, then maybe shut them down or decrease the sensitivity. But we have to be aware of it and not simply say, well, I'm hurting, I'm going to keep hurting all the way through. That's not the way to go.
Absolutely. And, you know, as far as like mouse sensitivity, I found that, you know, in the past, I used to use a mouse, you know, mice that were very old and kind of beat up, and that's very, very bad. Very similar. I used to ride a motorcycle, and it was a 1985 Top Gun, Tom Cruise, exact same motorcycle. It was a blast. But I used to ride the GPZ, which was the model. I think it was a turbo GPZ.
I think it's a turbo, yes.
Yeah, 1985. But and the clutch on it was very stiff and rusted. So whenever I was accelerating, you know, that was one of the big factors that led to my wrist problem. So, you know, same goes for the mouse. You want to make sure that it's easy to click. It's very sensitive to the click. You don't have to press very hard. And with your keyboard, you want to make sure the keys aren't like sticky and old.
Of course not.
Like you start to, when you have these issues, you start to really kind of look at on a micro level at all the compounding factors that lead to these issues. So
you know, as you said that, it made me think about. I had a gamer in the office 2 weeks ago who brought in his keyboard. So we're sitting there, but he was missing 4 of the
keys.
The keys. So I said, well, what are you doing about that? He said, well, it's been like that for like a year and a half. So you have to correct it. So you have to do better. I said, well, let's look at the mouse. The mouse had a part of the mouse that was actually missing the bottom part of it. So you have to put a lot of pressure on it just to move the mouse because that was broken. I said, what happened to the mouse? He said, well, I got angry one day and I threw the mouse. I said, well, you know, again, gamers rage, we'll talk about later. You know, you have to be aware that if the equipment is not appropriate, or if it's broken, you have to change it. If not, you're going to suffer. Your body's going to suffer.
Yeah, it's like going into a football game without a padded helmet. You know, you're gonna take blows.
You're gonna get blows.
Yeah, and again, like you said, prevention's the name of the game for sure. And
it's the key.
Because you know, after it becomes inflamed with you know these tendons and like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a lot of blood flow going into the actual like tendon. You know, so it's like it's not going to heal as quickly as like a muscle, like a bicep,
if they heal.
If at all. So you really need to stop it beforehand. Whereas, if I stream, it's going to be a day or two. And yeah, there are some, things you can do in stretches, but ultimately you just kind of have to wait it out from my anecdotal experience.
Right. No, I think it's not only anecdotal, I think it's true and applicable to most gamers and esports athletes because the bottom line, you're not playing for 1 or 2 minutes. No. You're playing for hours. Yeah. And many of them are playing for from 16 to 18 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week. That's a tremendous hit for the body. Yeah. What a lot of people, I think, aren't aware of that the first instrument for an athlete in esports or a gamer, their first instrument of choice is their brain. That's the most powerful tool they have. The second, of course, is their body. So if your body is taking a hit, no matter what your brain is signaling to do, you just can't do it. Your wrists will hurt, your hands will hurt. So then you have to take a day off, what I call restorative care, to let your hands actually feel better so you can just do basic activities of daily living, like brushing your teeth, combing your hair. So the goal here is to let everyone know, avoid these injuries by, as Nick said really well, and I've talked about this many times, it's about prevention. It's about really having your body not get hurt. Because once you're hurt, as Nick can attest to, then it's about, well, how do I get better? And then how do I not go back to the previous types of injuries? And that can be a very funny circle sometimes.
Yeah, and like you said, when you start to lose basic functions, like when brushing your teeth hurts or putting on a jacket or opening your car door, it can really take emotional and psychological attacks on you. And I've gone through periods in my life where I consider myself to be fairly motivated, entrepreneurial, things like that. But, it can really, bring you down and slow down everything in your life. And, so like you said, prevention is very important.
And the other reason, too, Nick, why prevention is important, a lot of the gamers I take care of also go through incredible bouts of severe depression because, number one, they can't use their hands or their wrists the way they want. And then secondly, if they break up their equipment because they can't do it, then that's more depression because then you have to buy new equipment. So it's a funny balance of how do you put yourself in a position whereby you're aware of your body, you're aware of how you feel, and then you want to prevent the issues of injury. It's not an easy thing to do if you're not aware.
Yeah, if it's truly, a passion of yours, like take it seriously just like you would if you were, trying to be a competitive, collegiate athlete or anything like that. And something that really helped for me is, I've never been a flexible guy. I used to do track and field, football, boxing, all kinds of stuff. But I was very stiff and kind of explosive with my physical patterns and everything. Sure, there may have been power. But, recently, my fiance, Anna, who's probably watching, so hi, Anna.
Hey, Anna.
Yeah, let's say hi. She got me into doing some yoga exercises and things like that. And, when I really feel inflammation in my wrist, I then feel it in my upper forearm area. And it kind of stems from my shoulder as well because I've had shoulder injuries. So Anna's got me doing these yoga exercises that are just amazing. And, I may not do like a full, I think it's a flow is what it's called.
Well,
like
a flow or asana, they call it.
Yeah, and I may not do the full thing, but there's a couple aspects of it that, before I game, I'll go and, do some of them in the backyard or, wherever I can. And it really, I feel that I'm able to play longer and also the recovery afterwards is better. Yeah, so, she's really helped me quite a bit with that. So
that's excellent. The great thing about yoga, Pilates, all of these things, all of those types of activities, they really help to elongate the muscles, elongate the tendons, as well as increase the blood flow to those areas. Yeah. And once you have blood flow, then you can move out the inflammation. It's really about activity and movement. Yeah. I think you're definitely on the right path. You're doing all the right stuff.
Yeah, the stretching has been big too, as well, and like doing all that preventative stuff.
But also taking that 15-minute break to really be mindful.
Honestly, that's the biggest thing.
It's the biggest because
absolutely.
Because when you do that, your body stops, you reconnect, you do the stretches, you just relax, and then you can go back and be just as strong. So that's a critical piece of the puzzle, Nick. It really is.
Yeah, especially when you're doing it for a living. I mean, many people, I've worked jobs in the office and everything, so I feel like it's a pretty healthy protocol for those type of people as well.
I think it's great for anyone who's doing a lot of activity at a desk. If you're doing a lot of data input, if you're using a CAD system, anything where you're using your fingers, your wrists, and your hands a lot, I think it's imperative that you do the stretches. It's imperative that you're aware of the ergonomic balance of your body, and more importantly, do these things to prevent injury. It's not getting injury and now let's get better. It's what can I do to not get there so I don't have to take a day or two off for restorative care of my hands, so I won't have difficulty putting on my pants or brushing my teeth or washing the hair that I don't have. You want to think about those kind of things. Now, what's your favorite game, Nick?
Well, currently I play a game called Total War Warhammer. So Total War is a development. Well, it's developed by a company called Creative Assembly in the UK, and they're awesome people. I work with them all the time, and it's basically military simulation. So you have you control an army from an overhead perspective. Now
this is all on the field.
Yeah, it's all on a battlefield. But the current version I'm playing, because they have like Total War Shogun or Total War Rome. So each of them takes place in different historical time periods. So they've had one which is in Japan and the Roman time period and all kinds of stuff like that, which is great. It's very fun. They have a Total War Empire, which covers the Napoleonic Wars.
It's pretty great.
The current one is Total War Warhammer, which is covering a fantasy universe. So it's going to have less realistic elements as dragons and wizards and all kinds of shenanigans. And
but I like shenanigans.
Yeah,
like
it's very fun.
Right.
And so I've been playing that, and it's a great game. That's what I do on my channel, and it's been a blast for sure. But I played Blizzard games as well. So I played World of Warcraft, I played Overwatch, I played StarCraft pretty competitively. I've been around. I've been around for a while. Yeah, I've been gaming since the mid '90s. So
well, I tell you, Overwatch is like one of my games of choice right now. I gotta like pull myself away from that sometimes because I have to work.
Yeah.
I have to operate, and there's sometimes when I'm sitting there, it's like, Levi, you gotta stop.
It's hard, man.
It's really, I want to. Why do you think gaming can become so addictive? I'll share my views later. I want to hear what you think about that. Why?
Well, for me personally, there's a multitude of reasons, but personally, I'm always been a big fan of fantasy. Reading Lord of the Rings. The Forgotten Realms, Dungeons and Dragons. I played growing up.
Well, I remember playing that also at Game Board at Notre Dame.
Yeah, Dyson. You probably played pen and paper, right?
Pen and paper,
yeah,
exactly
you played
right.
with Dyson,
That's exactly right.
Unit stat cards and everything.
Right.
So and then I grew up painting Warhammer figures and playing Magic: The Gathering, which is also a very popular game, and they're all kind of psychological escapes. I always love the idea of fantasies and wizards and magic and that type of thing. So for me, it's kind of always been a way to I guess I wouldn't say life is mundane, but it's a way to experience that
definitely
on a digital scale. So being able to see these things that you experienced as a kid, for me, it's very nostalgic. Seeing them manifested on a screen with these amazing contemporary graphics we have,
it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So for me, it's a bit of an escape, but also there's a competitive element. It's basically in a way it's like digital chess.
Yes,
I love competition and that type of thing. So there's several factors.
Yeah, I look at gaming as several things. One, it's enjoyable. 2, it is competitive. 3, it is community building.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 4, I think it allows us to have a form of escapism, whereby we can go to a fantasy place that we really love and appreciate and be there and just enjoy without anyone, without any other thoughts. That's what I love about it. But the sense of community is one of the biggest things, because I think there we can make friends. They're virtual friends, but friends that are in New Zealand, in Australia. And for myself now, taking care of gamers from all over the world, seeing these guys come in, it's like, wow, I saw them compete, and now I'm actually meeting them. And sometimes the way they look is totally different from what you think, because we build these. In my mind, these avatars of what people may look like when they're really not like that at all.
Yeah.
So gaming is. There's just nothing like it. I compete in every other sport, from Spartan races and all those things. But this is like, it's just different, Nick.
Absolutely.
I can't explain it. It's just different.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great way to kind of de-stress at the end of the day, or it can be a career. Now,
it can be a career.
For the first time, we have all these platforms like YouTube. Yes. Obviously, you can. there's a multitude of routes, but YouTube, you can upload videos, you can do Let's Plays, you can even stream on YouTube, very similar to Twitch, or Twitch, for example, is huge. There's so much money in it for the first time.
Right.
Not right now. It's been going on for years. Probably the past 10 years, I would say, has really been kind of the the epicenter of the gaming world.
I agree with that.
Kind of growing into a financial kind of a sector, I guess you could say. But
and I think it's great that there's this epiphany now that you can actually monetize YouTube videos. You can monetize the fact that, yes, I'm going to help people, but also actually get something back from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just a click, but every click could actually mean a penny into your wallet.
Yeah, that's what's pretty fun about YouTube is it's you see tangible results. If you get a certain amount of views, you're going to usually see not a static, but a return that's going to be relatively consistent. Now, it's not the best money in the world, but it allows you to pursue your passion. So, you can go on YouTube and make a channel, which if you're, charismatic and passionate and also have a bit of a fun niche about it, you can make a channel about any number of topics. You could have a channel talking about, exotic sea turtles and probably make money on that.
Right.
Might not be a fortune. Yeah, it might not be a fortune, but you're going to make money, which is really exciting because you get to pursue, and it's a great outlet, just kind of the digital age for people who have the most random of interests for sure. So.
Without a doubt. So we're going to take a phone call today from Julian Daniels. Hey, Julian, are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am.
Hey, Julian, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing great, man. Happy to have you on the show with us. So, everybody, this is Julian Daniels. He's the hand choreographer for Marvel Studios. So, he's like a superhero by proxy, I'd say.
It's awesome.
Well, you are.
I'll go with that.
Well, I go with it too, man. So happy to have you on with us today. So which are your favorite games to play, Julian? Besides Zelda?
I'd probably say, a lot of Overwatch. Not so much lately, but I'm really into Fortnite right now and League of Legends.
Great. And what about injuries? Have you had any injuries that you're willing to discuss, and how you've been doing with respect to those injuries?
Yeah. I'm not sure how it happened, but I guess the backs of my hands sort of started aching up a lot. And I've been doing a lot of your stretches, the acupuncture.
Yes.
Some of the, I'm going to see the exercises that you put on YouTube as well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that those are helping you. What do you think are things that people should think about in order to avoid injuries if they're playing esports or gamers? What are things that you think they should be aware of to prevent injuries?
I think the taking breaks and stretching during those breaks, probably a big thing. Something that I wasn't really paying attention to until I talked to you was posture. That seems to be a big thing for, especially right now, like when I go back into my gaming sessions now and I'm using the posture that you showed me.
Yes.
Drastic improvement.
That's great to hear.
And I'm definitely able to play longer.
Now, would you say also by just having a better posture, does it increase your efficiency as well as your speed and your winning when you're playing? Does it affect those areas?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll go with that. I think on council especially, for some reason, I feel like I aim better with the posture.
I'm glad to hear that, because I think posture is really one of the sort of unappreciated heroes of gaming, where you have to have better posture in order to not only play better, but again, about prevention, about preventing injuries that are posture-based or posture-related. So, I think that it's one of the most critical things that you can do to avoid injury. And as you said also, and I agree with you, taking breaks. You have to take those breaks. And if you have a lot of pain when you're playing, you have to take breaks sooner as well as more often. So if taking breaks once an hour or twice an hour, if you have some difficulty, fine. But if you have a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, well, maybe taking them every 10 or 15 minutes, as Nick alluded to earlier.
Mm.
And what about your channel, Daniels? How can people reach you or connect with you?
I'm probably most active on my Instagram account, which is jfunk_JD. That's JAYFUNK_JD.
Awesome, awesome. And tell me this, Daniels. What's the thoughts now about the upcoming Black Panther? Because Nick and I are big Marvel fans.
I'm not even gonna lie. As soon as we were talking about the start of production on that, I had already been ready for this movie, man. I mean, of course we had Chadwick on set for the Infinity War movies as well. So
yes. Like I told you, I want you to show up to audition for that, because I've always loved that character as a little kid.
Yeah.
I always thought he was so empowering and so inclusive and so strong as a character, and very unapologetic for being a king and for being great and for having an ego that was not outlandish but appropriate.
Right. That fit in with what he could do.
Exactly. But don't forget, the Black Panther, you got to think, this is a character that took on the Fantastic Four and beat them single-handedly. So he's not like some brush off character. He's someone who has a lot of power. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited, and seeing him in the previous renditions of the Marvel movies was quite a bit of fun. But I never actually read the comics myself, so
okay.
So yeah, no, I don't really know a lot of the backstory, so I'm going in as a bit of a beginner in regards to the story. So
let me tell you, when you just when you read about Wakanda, you read about where he's from, what that nation has, being the richest nation. Think about this too, Julian, that this is the richest country on the planet that people don't even know about. In the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think it's fantastic that you have we always talk about Tony Stark who's great, of course, I love Iron Man, but as being really rich and powerful and smart, and he is all of that. But T'Challa is also, but much richer.
Right.
You got to think, all the vibranium on the earth is right there in Wakanda. So. I can talk about, comics all day because I love the fact that when it comes to comics, you can really go to this place of, I don't know, for me, it's going back to being a little bitty boy again I can't explain it. I can't explain it, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. It's going to be quite a bit of fun.
Definitely.
Seeing him fight the Winter Soldier was great. Like, I really liked seeing those two kind of squaring off in the first one, that whole kind of story arc.
Exactly.
That was a lot of fun.
It was powerful.
I enjoyed that.
It was powerful. And seeing them, seeing Tony Stark. I was thinking about one other scene, too, in Civil War with Tony Stark, the Winter Soldier, and Iron Man, with Captain America. That was a really, really powerful scene. You see the Winter Soldier and Captain America literally beat down Tony Stark. It was just, I tell you, man, it's going to be a great year. Now, you got to think, too, now, Infinity War is coming up soon. The other one, too, now, Doctor Strange, there's a part 2, right? Is that this year or next year?
I can't really talk about it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
okay. I got to talk about it. Then I thought I read on some blog recently that it was later this year, but it doesn't matter. Whenever it is, I'll be there because I'm a big MCU supporter. Marvel Cinematic Universe supporter. Because I think again, the comic books really bring everyone together. It's a universe of inclusivity. No matter your race, your creed, your sex, your sexuality, your gender, your color of your eyes, if you have scales or not, it's all about bringing everybody together for a common good.
Absolutely.
I love comic books, man. I'm just one thing I have to share with Nick though. Now I want to ask you: have you gone to Comic-Con, Nick?
Yeah, I went to Comic-Con a couple years ago. It was quite a bit of fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not gone yet.
It's fun. I'm big into Magic: The Gathering, like I told you before.
Yes.
Grew up playing that, and that was actually
nice.
I started my YouTube channel was with Magic. I was doing like guides on how to play Magic and everything, and then it switched to more Let's Play format. Mm-hmm. But I went to Comic-Con because they have these limited edition cards they give out that are really cool, and I went just to.
How was that, man?
It was a blast. It's very packed, and the one thing you really have to take into account when you go there is, unless you're some sort of a VIP, of course. And at the time, I didn't have a channel or wasn't an influencer in any way, so I was going in just long lines, man. You gotta you want to watch a panel that's from a major blockbuster or title, you're waiting 3 to 4 hours. It's
really.
Yeah, you gotta come to camp, man. You gotta have a backpack. You gotta have one of those Bunsen burners to cook up some soup in line. Yeah, it's
just to wait.
Oh man, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Wow.
You need to have someone with you too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What about you, Julian? Have you gone before?
I have not.
Well, we got to do that, dude. No, you got to put that on your.
I actually went to. Have you heard of BlurredCon?
BlizzCon?
BlurredCon. I have to shout out my friend who's had I wouldn't say it's a more inclusive, but it's an inclusive based Comic-Con that they had in DC last year. So Blurred, which stands for Black Nerd, but there are a lot of minorities there.
That's very interesting. Have you heard of that, Nick?
I haven't heard of it, no.
I haven't heard of that either.
Yeah. They're doing the second one should be in July this year.
In DC?
I think it's in DC again, yeah.
Wow. Okay, man, we got to put on your agenda. We got to go to Comic-Con, but this Blurred sounds like something very interesting I'd like to go to also. Now, the people that are there, are these authors of comic books that are Afrocentric based?
It's everything. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Rick and Morty, but some of the people on the directing team and everything are minorities, and some of them are there. My homeboy with the big fro, I can't remember his name, but he was hilarious. We were talking at the bar, and he did a lot of work on Rick and Morty. But it's everywhere. Like people who have their own comics.
Yes. That
are Afrocentric. Some people who just work on bigger productions, and they just so happen to be minority. Just everything.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Nick and I are both like comic book fanatics here. We've never heard of that. Julian?
Yeah.
It must be relatively new as well.
Yeah. How old? Yes. Yeah. Great point. How old is that?
Yeah. No. The first event was last year, so I'm not that surprised.
Got it. Okay, well, you got to let us know, man. I like to hang out with you there. I'll definitely try to go to that. That sounds really, really amazing.
To be honest, I almost think that I should mention you to my friend who runs the thing. I feel like you would be a great guest panelist.
Well, I would love to talk to him about it. It sounds amazing. We'll definitely, when later on, I'll let you talk to our creative director, and she'll call you. But I want to definitely set that up, Julian. That would be fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow. But you'll definitely be there, correct?
Yeah, of course.
No, we'll definitely have to hang out there, man. That'll be fantastic. I mean, with a lot of other nerds, and I'm as nerdy as you can get, that'll be fantastic. I say nerd is not a pejorative term to me. It's like, it is what it is. I accept it. I think nerd is a new sexy, maybe. I don't know.
Sure. We'll take it.
Just Nick and I both agree. Right. Nick's saying he'll take it too, man. Well, Julie, I got to tell you, always a pleasure seeing you. Glad that you're getting better. I look forward to seeing you back in the office soon. Any issues, of course, call or come in, and we'll take care of you. But definitely put Blurred on the on our menu, and Miss Scolari is going to call you, and we're going to definitely make that happen. That sounds just phenomenal, man. Wow, just sounds phenomenal. Great. Well, have a great day, Julian. I want to remind everyone they can contact Julian via IG at JAYFUNK_J as in Jack, D as in Daniel. Okay, Julian, have a great day. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Take care, Julian.
Thank you, Julian.
All right.
Bye-bye. He's a great guy.
Great guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I tell you, though, I had no idea about the Blurred. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
First I thought you said BlizzCon. I was like, we've been to that. BlizzCon we've done.
Yeah, BlizzCon's amazing.
Comic-Con I have to do, though. I still haven't done that.
Yeah, Comic-Con's the mecca. It's and if you could perhaps get in and give some sort of a talk or something, that would be a lot of fun. Otherwise, though, it's a very big, hectic event.
I like that.
Just to be realistic about it, a lot of waiting in lines and crowds, and
I can do that
as long as you don't mind. Yeah,
I don't mind.
Just a fair warning.
For me, it's like BlizzCon. As long as I'm in the environment with other gamers, other people with the like mind of like having a good time, everybody's inclusive, everybody's having a great time. I could wait 5, 10, 14 hours. I'm okay.
All right, if you're ready to party.
I got my Bunsen burner. I got my.
You got your Foreman grill. You just
plug it into the wall.
Oh man, those are college in a nutshell. Yeah, those things.
I'm ready for them.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for joining us today. It was really a phenomenal show to have, the ineffable Nicholas Scolari on, his genius, his brilliance, and his dedication to the gaming community. And, of course, Julian Daniels. Julian, I tell you, thanks for sharing with us today how you're progressing with respect to your health, and also about your involvement in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the hand choreographer for all of the films. And then, more importantly, that you're a gamer. That's the thing that for me is the most shared embrace, that we are gamers and that we live this life to be of service to people, that gaming is something that we do because we love it. It's not, we don't have to do it, as I say, like in the closet. We don't have to be afraid that people know that we're gamers, because I think before there was such a stigma associated with being a gamer, that people thought that if you're a gamer, then you don't speak well, then you're not well educated, that you're not very bright. It was actually just the contrary. Gamers are highly intelligent, highly motivated, and we love what we do, but it doesn't mean that we're less than. Everybody has worth. Everybody has value. So I want to thank Nick. How can people reach you, Nick? I know your YouTube channel is Turin.
Yeah, just YouTube.
Turin.
YouTube's probably the best. Turin.
Fantastic.
You want to watch? Stop by.
So check Nick out. I mean, he has a lot to offer. He's a great teacher, a great person, and a phenomenal human being.
Thank you.
I want to thank, this is the truth. And I want to thank Julian Daniels, of course, from Marvel for being with us today. It was really a great, great show. And I'm really fired up about Blurred. I'm fired up about Comic-Con and just fired up being of service. That's the major thing. That makes me feel really good. So it's Dr. Levi. Be kind to the veterans. Remember, those women and men are the true heroes of our society. Have more compassion, less judgment, and just be good. Remember, when it comes to saying something or speaking, I want you to keep this in mind for the next year. These 3 things. Before you say anything, think of this. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, does it have to be said? And number 3, is it uplifting? If it's not true, if it doesn't have to be said, if it's not uplifting, well, guess what? Shh. That's best. All right. It's Dr. Levi. Have a great week. I'll see you back next week. I want to thank our producer for the show, Mrs. Deborah Scolari, as well as our engineer for the show, the great Tony Sweet. We're really grateful to have them as a part of my team. And I'm grateful to have really awesome people in my life. I feel really, really blessed. And I hope you do too. This is Dr. Levi. Bye.